So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm just going to let you know that on the Travel Cafe, under UK, of course, and then under travel news and updates, if you scroll down, there is a step-by-step Ecomm how-to guide. From start to finish there, anything that you guys would need to do with regards to taking a payment is on there. I've screenshotted every single page that you will come across, and I've also popped underneath exactly what you need to do on each page. So if you get stuck, if you just lose what you're doing, if you're doubting yourself, please make sure you refer to that and just make sure 9 times out of 10 you'll be doing the right thing, but it can be obviously a little bit daunting. And then onto Ecomm Pay itself, what I'll do is I will just log out for everybody, and I will start exactly how you guys would be starting as well. So mine, yours, all the same. There'll be a couple of slight differences on this page itself, but apart from that, we are sharing the exact same thing here. There's really only two types of payments that you're going really to be making. That's going to be a manual payment, and it's going to be a payment link. The other thing, before I go any further, I'm just going to explain exactly what this is for. For those guys who aren't on the training, we have actually just had to start again because Zoom would not allow me to share my screen correctly. So what Ecomm Pay is for is all of these new suppliers that you guys will see or have been seeing over the last few weeks and will be seeing going forward. Most of them, probably 95% of them, will not allow us to take a customer's credit card directly. They're just not set up that way. So those that you've had from the get-go, your Exotica and your Expedia, for example, continue to use those the way that you have been doing by taking the customer's credit card directly. Because, of course, all you're doing there is eliminating any risk whatsoever between you and that payment, and you're just giving it straight to the supplier. So those that you can, continue to do so, but you will find going forward that that will become less and less with regards to who you can take a direct credit card with. So what we've had to do is we've had to have this system built in order to be able to take the payments from your customer, have them obviously safely held somewhere, but also accessible for myself to be able to go in and to be able to pay those suppliers on your behalf. So that's exactly what this system's for. And really, it's going to be something that you're pretty much going to be using most of the time as you build your clients and as you build your booking numbers, of course. So once you're on this stage and you're taking a payment, the first option I'm going to give you is a manual payment. So once you click into manual payment, all you're going to do is you're going to go up there and you are going to request. The next tab you need to change is virtual terminal. So again, that really is just how it sounds. It's effectively having one of those PDQ machines that you would tap in a shop or put your card in while you're in a shop, but they're not physically there with you. So you are taking a virtual terminal payment. The general information, this will be really all that you need to fill in. So general information, your project, that's never going to change when you're taking a manual payment. You always go to the Archer Travel Moto. Those numbers there in brackets will never change either. They're nothing to do with how many payments we've taken or anything like that. So you're always choosing that option there. Now, second box down is your payment ID. So in your payment ID, you're going to put who the holiday's with, which supplier it's with, and you are going to put what sort of payment it is that you're taking. So it could be a deposit, it could be a full balance, or chances are it could well just be a partial payment as well. Someone who's decided, I know, let's ring up, let's take £500 off our holiday. So that's really all that we need in there. Your next one is your moto type. And of course, that's always going to be telephone. The other one, mail order, you're never going to need to use. So it's always going to be a telephone order. And your payment method is, of course, a card payment. Simple as that. Your amount is going to go in there, and so is your currency. So for any of the, I know you guys have some of the US websites that you can book through. So should you need to, the US dollars and things are there, but predominantly, again, this is for the UK suppliers. So chances are it's just going to be British pounds. And again, if I just refer back to the steps on here, you can see all of this is on there. Everything is on there for you. Let's just go back to Ecomm Pay. So your next thing is your customer ID. So for your customer ID, we're going to put the name. So that would be myself. And we are going to put in, I'm just making sure that I'm giving you guys the same information as what I've put on here. And there is a reason for that. I'll explain that in just a second. So, and the date of departure. Simple as that. In there, you don't necessarily need to put anything. If there is anything that might help me, again, bear in mind this comes to me, I will be paying your supplier who you've booked this with. So if there is anything there that you think would be helpful, by all means, put it in there. So just thinking of what might occur, it could be of this £1,000, £100 needs to be paid to Flexible Autos with can't even spell that, with, I don't know, a reference number, whatever it might be. And then it could be that the other 900 is going over to gold medal. That's obviously not going to happen all the time. So if you don't need to fill anything in there, then you absolutely do not have to. So from there, I know who's traveling. I know the date of departure. I know who the money needs to go to. And I know what it is that they're paying. So the reason that that is so important, you may not think it is, but if you start getting, if if your customer, should I say, has paid their deposit, and then they are just ringing up and oh, I've got a few £100 left over this month, I want to pay it off my holiday, then I effectively don't know what I'm paying off. I don't know what it's for. I don't know if it's something that needs to be done right now before they close that day, or if it can be done the day after. Just things like that. The more information there is there, the easier it is for me. Also, please don't worry if you do get this and this mixed up or anything like that. As long as I've got the information that I need to be able to send off to the correct supplier, the correct amount, who it's going to, it really doesn't matter if you've accidentally put that in there and vice versa. All you are then going to do is literally pay now. Apologies, that's not allowed in there. Is pay, oh my goodness, spaces before and after the value. There we go. All you're then going to do is press the pay now button. And you can see there, like anything else you are buying on Amazon or whoever it might be, your straightforward details all go in there. You're valid until your last 3 digits and, of course, the cardholder name. So what's good there is if you do have your customer on the phone and they've got obviously their 3D secure and all of that kind of thing, you can literally be on the phone to them and say to them, you should be expecting something through now, when they need to authorize the payments and what have you. So you can do all of that on there. And then you'll literally just press pay, and that will be that done. You'll get this blue screen will then change to a green screen, I believe, if I remember rightly, that says complete or successful payment. If you then were to go back home, that payment would then pop up across here and it would show exactly what payment it is that you've taken. So you also know again then, just sort of an extra backup that that money has been taken from them. And then the other payment would be a payment link. Now, again, straightforward, a new payment link. It's, of course, always a one time. You're not really going to make a subscription for a payment link for anything whatsoever. And then the details are pretty much the same again. So your payment ID is going to go in there. Your amount, the currency. Now, the expiry date, I wouldn't really think that anybody would have to change because obviously, if you are taking that payment, you're pretty much taking it straight away. So you will find that they will automatically expire the same day that you've sent them at midnight. So there shouldn't really be any reason to change that. Your project is again Archer Travel. So you can see that this one is slightly different to the other one. If I remember rightly, under your manual payment, it's Archer Travel Moto, and I think there's one digit different as well. But again, you can actually see with the other one, it says demo stage. We are, of course, not taking demo payments or dummy payments. So really, there's no reason why anybody would get mixed up with that. But it is that one that you'll always use, and that will never change. And then your payment method. So you have got the likes of Google Pay and Apple Pay. Again, the chances are you're going to be using a card, but you do have the options on there should somebody ask the question, Apple Pay, Google Pay. This is no different either. And again, optional. Optional. If it's going to help, pop it in there. If not, don't worry. In here, you're going to put your customer's email address. Ensure that that is ticked. Mine's disappeared. I think there's a ticky box usually there. Yeah, I can see it there, but it's not, if I just try and highlight that, it's not highlighting. There is just a very, very faint, if you can see it, just there. Just ensure that that's obviously lit up and create the payment link. Doesn't want that. Every time I put a space. And create the payment link. Successfully created. I will now receive that in my inbox within the next couple of minutes. And basically, exactly what you guys saw on the manual payment, where you put in the card details, the expiry date, the last three digits, etc., your customer will receive the exact same thing. It's just the only difference, of course, is that they will be putting the details in rather than yourself. So for some of your customers, and probably for some of you guys as well, that will probably feel safer for them. They'll probably be more comfortable with that. And that's absolutely fine. They're just as quick, they're just as safe, with regards to ourselves. Some people just aren't that internet savvy, don't like the idea of clicking on a link to put their card details in. So, of course, you've got the option of both there. Once that's done, you've kind of done your job. That's sort of it, done and dusted. Like I say, the rest then comes down to me. I then go ahead and get that paid. I get notified when a payment's been taken, and obviously, depending on who it's with, the contracts will differ. Some need to be paid within the space of a few hours, whereas others need to be paid sort of within a week, and vice versa. I've got some contracts where they actually take the money from our account. So either which way, you've done your job, you've got it there, what would be on your dashboard, um, of what payment's been taken. I have had a couple that have actually just sent me an email and said, just let you know, I've taken this payment. I also totally appreciate that as this is all very new to everybody, I may well be getting phone calls when somebody is at that stage of taking maybe the first and the second payments as well. So I can help you with any of that along the way. And like I say, you do have the travel cafe to refer back to, which is start to finish, got every single screenshot, every single page, and a description of what needs to be on every page as well. And it pretty much is as simple as that. So keep using the customer's credit card directly where it allows you, Expedia, Exotica, etc. Those that it doesn't, is because you're using Ecomm Pay. Any issues, refer back to that on the travel cafe or come through to me. Also, as well, probably just something to touch on because I, I didn't even think at the time about how daunting it might be. In fact, I hope you don't mind me saying, Tara, it could have been yourself. I might be wrong, but somebody was looking at making a booking or, certainly going through that stage and realized that when they got to the end of the process, all it said was book now. And obviously, with regards to Exotica, with regards to Expedia, it's not that straightforward because you are having to put all the customers' card details in and everything. When it comes to the likes of Gold Medal and all these other suppliers where you are using Ecomm Pay, those functions are not there. So do not panic when you put your customers' names and dates of birth, when you found them the holiday and you're getting it booked for them. It's absolutely normal that once you've put all of those details in, you will see there it simply just says book now. It's not asking you for anything else. Once you press that button, your reference and everything is generated, that holiday is booked. That's probably also something to think of with regards to taking the payment. This has crept up a few times. You guys need to remember that this is your business and you need to back yourselves and you need to cover yourselves as much as possible. So once you're on that final page of whichever supplier it might be, and you can see you've got that book now button, whether it's that it's a £99 per person deposit or it's going soon and it's full payment, which, it could be £500, it could be £5,000. You just don't know, obviously, one client to the next. You need to ensure you're covering yourselves. If you press book now and you have not taken that payment, that holiday, either which way, is booked. And that supplier, just because I've been using them, let's say Gold Medal, that supplier has generated the reference number and they are owed that money. Whether that's, as I say, in an hour, in a day, whatever it might be, you've pressed that button and they expect that money. If you're then going in to take a payment from a customer and you're having issues taking that payment, the card isn't going through, they're saying they've not received the payment link but don't want to give you the details, then you've sort of done yourself a disservice there. You need to ensure that you've got that payment in order to make that booking. It sounds silly, I'm sure, in some respects, but you'd be very, very surprised at how many people will go ahead and press that button. And then all of a sudden, it's happened when I've worked in stores before now. And then they've put that card in the machine, as it was in that case, and the card declines. And instantly you feel the colour draining out of yourself because you've booked that holiday. That holiday is now live, it exists. You need that money, and their card isn't going through. So it's not a case of don't trust anybody. It's a case of back yourselves up, ensure you're doing the right thing for your own business. you wouldn't allow somebody to drive away in a brand new car and then ring you an hour later to make the payment, you know. So just think about small things like that as well. Obviously, that's where the main difference comes in the fact that with someone like Expedia, if you put the details in and the card did decline, the holiday wouldn't book. That isn't going to be the case going forward with these sorts of suppliers. And any questions or anything, as per usual, please give me a ring, drop me an email, whatever it might be. And this is just another positive step of going forward for new suppliers. Um, this payment system, there's no ends to what it can do. And don't panic. Just don't panic about it at all. You are still taking that customer's payment. You're just doing it on a different website to Expedia Direct or Gold Medal Direct. That is literally all it is. So apart from that, I'll let everybody go and happy booking. And I hope I start seeing loads and loads of pings coming through because everybody started taking payments. Thank you very much, guys.